also understand the issues when it comes to growing a business. One of the main issues is digital tools, right? And so after the transition to coming down here, we realized that we have a lot of talent here. Right? But how do we create tools, digital tools that can help these businesses grow?
Through the use of technology, you're able to give a business a complete business solution and platform to look at every aspect of their business through the use of AI technology. So you're increasing productivity, you're giving them real data, real-time data reporting so they can make decisions, they can buy inventory, they can do predictive analysis about what they need.
Coming from Nairobi, if you can be a Nairobian, you can survive anywhere. So coming from Nairobi, quickly I went to school, became a full-blown developer, developed my own software as well for big companies. And coming back here, I saw that, but it was even more amplified in the sense of that now there are these tools and you have this generation that is just smart. It's super smart, right?
Welcome to Life by Design with Tim Booker, where you can live well, you can own your future, and you can cultivate your legacy. Welcome to Life by Design with Tim Booker. I'm excited here today. We have a special topic for you. Just to frame this conversation today, we have a special guest. I want to welcome Moses. Welcome.
Thank you, Tim.
I know you're extremely busy. Thank you for taking your time. Regarding our conversations today about living well, living intentionally, one thing I want to talk about is how we empower people to live a better life, a better community, how we support businesses. Small business is the engine of economies all over the world. And Nairobi is becoming a launch pad for businesses to expand not only in Africa, but to lead many industries throughout the world. And our special guest today has a beautiful background. He has a company based out of Las Vegas. He's worked in California in the high-tech Silicon Valley area. He has experience in Uganda. Has a technology center here in Nairobi, and he runs a technology company that essentially provides the best world-class AI integration technology with the ERP solution to support the small business community, to empower them and de-risk them to make them more bankable. And I'm excited here today, not only just in terms of the fact that he's going to share some valuable information. This person is caring and he's passionate about his mission. And from when I first met him, I could just see that passion to help businesses evolve and to provide access to people who have dreams, who work hard, who want to expand, to give them the same competitive opportunities of some of the largest corporations in the world. And I was just taken by Moses. I called him and said, hey, are you willing to kind of share your knowledge and your experience with our listeners today? And he openly and happily has joined us. So thank you. Welcome.
No, thank you for having me.
Yeah. So I would love you to introduce yourself, a little bit about your transition between the different geographical areas, the U.S. and your African-based focus on your business as well.
Absolutely. So my name is Moses Kusasira. I'm actually born and raised in Eastlands of Nairobi. Lived in Las Vegas for 25 years. I've been in the tech industry for the past 20 years and made the transition to Nairobi around 2021, right after COVID. Used to run a tech company in Las Vegas in the loyalty space. And after a while, after COVID came, we realized, let's go back home. Let's go back home and see what's going on back home. Getting here, we were really impressed by the financial or the fintech industry. Mainly the mobile payment system was ahead of anything that we ever seen. And at that point, we decided to build PaySoko around that. And not just that, we found the best talent here. I mean, those are the things that until you come down here, you will never really realize that there is talent that unprecedented talent that you can never get anywhere else, and it's easily accessible, right? The generation, mainly the Gen Z in Kenya, they're just talented individuals. I mean, there's a lot of other companies, big companies that have actually utilized, the Gen Z here in Nairobi. And so we decided this is going to be our main hub. We employ close to 100 people, and we're looking at growing even further than that. And, we're looking at expanding mainly in the whole continent of Africa, but utilizing Nairobi being the center of all of it. So thank you so much for having me, and, I'm looking forward to this discussion.
Yeah. What I think is great about PaySoko, which, by the way, as I was introduced to your company through a friend, he said, this is technology company. This guy Moses is doing some incredible things. You have to come and see it. And he was aware that I was intimately aware of running a tech company in the U.S. Mind Finders, that obviously I have clients, and we've helped use, the Salesforce platform, PeopleSoft, SAP, and we understand how expensive and how critical those kind of solutions are for large businesses. But the price and entry point for many small businesses is not available. And he mentioned that you're bringing that level of solution in through the advent of AI technology and making it available at a cost-effective service model for businesses that need it, both small, medium, and large. He also told me that you were doing some work at one point, and you can talk a little bit about this, partnering with the Gates Foundation to facilitate some of that mission work as well through the use of technology. So I just want to congratulate you with what you're doing. I think we're at a new space in the world. It used to be a time the largest companies had such a tremendous advantage over a medium company because they had capital. In the industrial phase, if you didn't have capital, you couldn't build the factories or have the machinery necessary to compete on a global scale. Today, with the advent of the internet and AI technology, the times are different. We're looking forward very soon in the near future to companies that are $500 million that might have 5 to 10 employees. This is a different business climate. And you're at the center and the heart of that transformative technology. So why don't you just share with your listeners a little bit about how did you get into this technology space, this innovation, to be able to harness this technology to accelerate business growth, and a little bit about how you use that technology to facilitate what the Gates Foundation brought to you as a potential opportunity?
Absolutely, great. That's a great question. So starting from the point that I've been an entrepreneur myself, small business, I've started a few startups, so I understand the issues when it comes to growing a business. One of the main issues is digital tools, right? And so after the transition to coming down here, we realized that we have a lot of talent here, right? But how do we create tools, digital tools that can help these businesses grow? And that involves not just technical assistance or business development, but it also comes down to financials, right? Finance, how do they get investments into their companies and then grow their companies? So when we came down and we kind of did the hackathon with the Gates Foundation, we built a system that, first of all, it was a remittance system, right? That basically helped pay for electricity directly from the US, But then after we did that, we saw the technology that we have on our previous company and this company, and we saw a gap in between. We have all this talent, and you said you've worked with the big ERPs like Salesforce and SAP and those kind. And so you look at these small businesses, they can't afford, those type of, software. Even medium businesses can't afford it. No. So we stepped out and decided, let's build a small, light ERP system, right? And at the same time, how do we fix each and every one of these issues? So you have business development, then you have technical assistance, then you also have the finance bit. And in order to do that, it became evident to us we have to build a whole ecosystem. And so by doing that, it was great because now we had an engine that basically de-risked investments. And then also by connecting to what we call the last mile, which is the ERP line, you're able to utilize data and have the AI actually help the business grow at the same time. There is the investment.
Correct.
That's how also we partner with the Gates Foundation on a women empowerment program called Dada Soko.
Okay.
And the idea there was, how do we help these women that are mostly in the rural area sell, but not just sell products, sell together? Because, I'll give you an example, in a fashion industry, you have a lady in Kajiado in the Maasai area that makes the best bracelets that you can ever see, right? By the way, the Kenya bracelet is the number one bracelet in the world, worn bracelet in the world. Yes, that's a fact. Okay? And then now you have a lady in Kisumu that has maybe bags, and a lady in Mombasa with these dresses. The question was, how could you sell those items together, but whatever they are, they get paid? And so our system was able to facilitate this. You create the ensemble, and so you basically the bracelet, the bag, the dress, including the model that's wearing the ensemble, including the makeup artist. And so when somebody purchased that one ensemble, the system will just, basically pay those different groups of people in different areas.
Wow.
And that was a big deal, a big thing, and we were glad to partner with the Gates Foundation. And since then, that program has grown to over 3,000 women.
Wow.
And, we keep doing it. So that's what drove us. It's the gap that we had in between when we came. We saw, and we have lived, and when I say we, it's my partner and I, we have lived that startup life. We understand the issues.
Right. Well, I think one thing, just for our listeners to make this, make sure we hammer home the point, is through the use of technology, you're able to give a business a complete business solution and platform to look at every aspect of their business through the use of AI technology. So you're increasing productivity, you're giving them real-time data reporting, so they can make decisions, they can buy inventory, they can do predictive analysis about what they need. At the same time, when it's time for you to communicate their value to the bank, we have real data about their history, their sales, their customer base, their customer satisfaction. So you're de-risking from a banking perspective, making these businesses more bankable from a governance perspective.
Exactly.
And in today's time, when you're running a business, the bank wants to make sure that they are de-risking their lending. And so I think you are providing a tremendous platform that opens finance up for private investors and banks in a risk-free way, because you have historical data on their ability to pay.
Absolutely.
And you have a system that can remittance the payment through their sales through a point-of-sale system. I think you communicated that,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
And also allow them to be able to buy products in a group fashion, which increases their profitability by basically aggregating the vendors for certain products under one buying agreement. So everybody wins. There's more profit, there's more governance, there's more operational integrity, right? And there's a holistic solution that now makes a medium to small business just as competitive as a large business from a tool perspective.
Yeah.
And that is extremely powerful in today's term. So I was impressed by that strategy. I got it. And I'm excited to support PaySoko and have this conversation today. Can we talk a little bit more about this thought that I just brought up about what makes Nairobi such an important component to your business strategy in terms of the intellectual capital, because these people are entrepreneur and more creative than some places where people want to solve problems with money or resources? What makes this the perfect place for the innovation you're doing?
Yeah, good question. And so I know most people always think about cost.
Right.
Yes, cost is good, but there is something about Nairobi that's different. It's simply put, talent. Okay, this is a talented city. I myself, I grew up here in the 90s, And going to school here, both primary and high school, I knew that Nairobi was some place special, and I knew I'll come back one day. And so coming back, seeing this new generation, right? Because when I went to America, I didn't even know what a cell phone was. But quickly, coming from Nairobi, if you can be a Nairobian, you can survive anywhere. So coming from Nairobi, quickly I went to school, became a full-blown developer, develop my own softwares, work for big companies. And coming back here, I saw that, but it was even more amplified in the sense of that now there are these tools and you have this generation that is just smart. It's super smart, right? And, sometimes you bring these guys, I mean, we have so many of them, and they'll show up and, they'll be 21, 22, but the knowledge, and the things that they're doing, and you're like, whoa. Now in the valley, this will be somebody a little bit, maybe 26, 27, you know. And so talent is the biggest thing that, makes Nairobi such a special place.
Yeah.
Also the opportunity, Nairobi has a business opportunity. Living in Las Vegas, I kind of compare it to Nairobi because it's open in the sense of that no matter what kind of business you're running, whether it's a hair salon or logistics business, the opportunity is here and you can do business. Right? Yeah. And so I always sing the song to everybody in the US and mainly Las Vegas, just come one time and see what's going on, even if it's for 1 week. And not necessarily, obviously there are good things you can come and do, go to the safari and all that. But, if you just come and go to the business, places like coming here, then Nairobi Accelerator, you'll see that there are things going on. And so if you are an entrepreneur, I'm pretty sure you fall in love with this place.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Let me tell you a story that kind of was, that hammers home the point. I was doing volunteer work when I first came here. I was about 2 hours outside of Nairobi in a small town. And we went to tour. An NGO was financing this NGO out in Machaco County. And so there was a small building behind a church, and they were doing computer training. And what I was told was, hey, they're teaching kids how to be computer literate. So it's okay, let's go check it out. So I walk in the room, it's midday, and there's probably about 40 kids somewhere between the age of 10 and maybe 16, sitting in the room, perfectly quiet, completely focused on what the instructor's saying. So I was like, wow. And when I got in there, they had all these concepts on the board: cybersecurity, AI programming, fintech apps. And I was like, what? I thought I was coming to talk about Excel or talk about Word or talk about how to type. And the kids were learning the basic concepts of AI programming and writing apps and fintech and cybersecurity. They were playing with technology in their environment that is critical for businesses. And there was one young man that stuck out with me. He stood up and he was able to tell his story, what he wanted to do when he grew up. And the first thing he said was he wanted to develop an app. And it was a fintech app that would empower his community, and it would help them, sell their agriculture, manufacture things, educate his people, that he would have this paid app that the world would want. So here's a kid that's probably 12 years old that not only is interacting with the technology to the level where he can envision how he can make this technology transformative in a small town 2 hours outside of Nairobi.
Oh,
that stuck with me. And being from the US, I go home and the kids are on video games. And I'm saying, how in the world is this 12-year-old kid on a video game, okay, gonna compete with this kid 2 hours outside of Nairobi who's already dreaming about the kind of app he's gonna build
For the community.
and by the way, on a Friday at 2 o'clock during the summer when he's not in school, and he chose to be in this AI class, not outside playing. And that's the power and the capital of this creative spirit. That's what makes this place special.
Absolutely.
And that's what you're
100%.
seeing, you're tapping into. And that's powerful, given how technology can be such a difference maker in today's time. It's going to be the great equalizer for business growth. And you're at the center of it, man, and of making that happen. So I just want to highlight that. I mean, I'm just so excited to be here and hear your stories. I mean, it's just beautiful. I guess I want to transition a little bit to, you mentioned, hey, I came back to a different Kenya. Tell me about your company pride, your country pride here, what you're seeing. I mean, you still have your company headquartered in Vegas, so you're moving between the US as well as Kenya and other places as well to service your client. But you also have such a deep love for your country. And I want people to understand why. Because you have a very global perspective of what's going on in the business community. What are you seeing here? What are you so proud about that we talked about kind of off tape?
You know, if you look at, you brought up how technology has evolved. If you look at what's going on right now, the world has become small. Okay, so I look at Las Vegas the same way I look at Kakamega, Mumias, which is, a different area, or Mombasa, right?
Yeah.
Meaning that you can get there quicker, you can make phone calls quicker, I mean, we have Elon Musk building, going to space,
Right.
So Las Vegas has been really good for me. I've built my career there. I've been in the hospitality industry, and build a few companies there. And but obviously Nairobi is home, and so by coming back here, I see a way of connecting these worlds, right? And I know you saw it. I saw it. I had to come. You just come once. I tell people just come once, even if it's a week. You'll see it. And we have talent. And let me now just go a little bit, high level in Africa. Africa's most valuable asset is the people, not the gold, not all. It's the people, right? And it's here. It's the continent. It's here right now. The people are talented, and if you are whether you are an entrepreneur, an investor, right? There's so much opportunity here, right? And I understand, the people always look at the risk, but companies like ours are built to de-risk those type of investments.
Right.
So we are encouraging. We are a huge supporter of getting people to basically partner, whether you're partnering or you're opening up a company, and also opening up the market that way, going that way. It's not just one way, because let's be realistic. America is the big, spender, right? And we produce a lot of great things here, not just fashion, coffee, tea. There's all these different things, right?
Yeah.
And we see an opportunity on connecting the two different markets and making this, something different. It's going beyond our borders, right? Let's not think about when it comes to business, right? It's going beyond our borders, and now there's a way of doing it, and that's the goal.
Yeah, I think so. So for our listeners, before we transition to the next topic, the world is changing. If you really look at the framework of how companies are built today, and it's been going on for years, but through the use of technology, it's expanding. I remember being in the IT space for the last 24 years in my own company, or even prior to that. I remember when it was a major movement for Eastern Indians to participate in the US in the technology market. And there were a very talented group of people that came to help and partnered with many of our US companies to innovate. That was the movement of the time. That strategy, and if you look today, there's a lot of technology companies in Eastern India. There was a heavy influence of really smart, talented people, and that technology that was helping us evolve and grow and maintain our status as leaders in certain verticals. And if you look today and look at the market, the data tells you what's going on. There is a heavy investment in creativity and technology, specifically AI technology here in Kenya, just like it was 25 to 30 years ago in Eastern Asia. And so we know what's going to happen based on the data and the trends, and we're here to lead and participate in that movement. And this is one of the many places that has been designated for this particular movement. And so I think people need to look at what the data is saying today. History tells us what's going to happen tomorrow. It's not that complicated for us to figure that out. And so I think it's exciting the fact that you have a global strategy where you have a company that's US facing, but you're taking advantage of the best technologists for the space that you're in. It's a smart business strategy, not only cost, but creativity, speed to market, the ability to scale, because Africa has the youngest population under the age of 35 of any other place in the world. So in terms of talent base, your ability to scale here, not only for cost, in terms of talent and resources, are here. So I think what you're doing is brilliant. I want people to know that, okay? I know we love being here. And I want to transition to the accelerator. You know, I know we had our initial launch for the Nairobi Accelerator, which was really a think tank, not necessarily an incubator. It's around bringing the best minds and the talent base here, not only local Kenyans, but the international immersion of people moving here and contributing to the economy is outstanding. The leadership here in Kenya is thought-provoking, and they're looking forward, and they're leading in infrastructure development as well to facilitate that growth. And we're bringing them into this space here at Villa Kali across these different vertical markets to make sure that we are solving the problems that will enable us to lead in those individual spaces, whether it's AI technology, AI strategy, right? Whether it's renewable energy, right? Whether it's health, whatever the vertical, tourism, so that we can lead those spaces. And I know you've been part of that initial group of people that's going to help us participate. Why is that so critical for the movement that's happening here in Nairobi? Why is it the perfect time for this type of think tank here in Nairobi?
Good question. I mean, absolutely. Look at how Silicon Valley took off.
Yeah.
It was accelerators, like Y Combinator, and things like that, right? These are required. I mean, in any kind of city, and mainly when it comes to innovation,
right?
Okay, you need accelerators like this, because this is how people get together. You know, when you invited me the other day and I came in, and you know, I didn't know what I was walking into, but walking in and meeting all these people at one go, you know, it's priceless, the way they say, right? It's priceless, because by the time, you know, you can't go to a club or a lounge and get these type of people at all. So it is important to have the Nairobi Accelerator. I am a supporter. I'm a big supporter, and I will make sure that everybody that comes down has to pass through here to, you know, because that's how you get connected, you know, to what's going on in Nairobi, right? And the different groups and different people in Nairobi. I urge that anybody that, you know, ever, you know, gets to Nairobi or has, no, and I should not just say Nairobi, you know, in Africa in general, you know, I like looking at it as a whole. Start in Nairobi and start at the Nairobi Accelerator, because you'll get the connections that you need to basically move forward with whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And so we really think, and I say we as in PaySoko thinks this invitation, thanks the invitation before, and we are looking forward to doing more of this.
Yeah.
You know, we want to really let everybody know what's going on, like you explained what happened with East Asian, you know, back then when Google was taking off and all that. Well, it's happening, and it's happening here
It's here in
Africa.
Kenya.
Yes.
Well, just like, hey, the Nairobi Accelerator, from a think tank perspective, if you really think about it, you know, I create the analogy of kind of Motown for music, right? So they created basically a common house. They brought the best talent, the best creativity into a space, and they grew and they made some of the world's best music. They led the space and they innovated in their space. They learned from each other. They grew. They challenged each other, you know? So that's what we're going to build here in Nairobi. It's going to be the base. It's going to be that think tank. It's going to be that environment for honest communication. It's about, you know, I know a lot of times as an organization, when I was running my company, we want to hire consultants to solve our problem. But the talent we have in our room, we can solve our own problems. We have such a deep pool of knowledge across all these industries that many of the problems that are holding us back can be solved together. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to be basically the Motown for business, right? We're going to be the Motown across these different industries. And we're going to sit, whether it's on the patio in this living room area, sit in the kitchen, or sit in the grass in the garden, and we're going to take our shoes off and we're going to build something great together by sharing best practices, by supporting each other, by putting PaySoko's software infrastructure in place so you can have real-time reporting on what's happening in your business and you're solving the right business problems. That we create the framework for excellence based here, and we can take that to different cities throughout Africa. We can take it to other countries where people want to participate and solve problems. So this is about us fulfilling a mission. Every mission, every movement starts with the people. The people having a common purpose, a genuine common purpose and interest to do something great together. And that's what we're doing. So I just want to first just congratulate you again for what you're doing. I know the level of energy and passion it takes to do what you're doing in such a competitive market. Being an entrepreneur for many years, based in the U.S., you're employing lots of people. You're developing a pool of people, not only in Las Vegas, but here. You're employing over 100 people, helping them feed their families, helping them provide opportunity for the people around them. And so your impact in the community is being felt. Your participation in the accelerator has already been felt in terms of you communicating, hey, here's the perspective that this is what's really going on in the world. This is what banking wants to know. This is how we access capital. So can we talk a little about the capital piece? I know your organization really, really believes in making sure that everyone's included in opportunity. I know you have some private investors are looking for places where they have great return, where they can support some of their initiatives here in Africa, and I know you have that opportunity. So let's talk about some of the various investment options, and also, if you don't mind, could you just break down some of the vertical markets that PaySoko services in terms of your modules? Because I think when people see ERP, they think of it as just a generic solution, but you guys have built some specific verticals that integrate seamlessly into certain markets already.
Absolutely.
So can you just share a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you so much. So, so the first one really is our LMS, lending management system. We've built a lending management system that is AI driven, right? We call it the Hive module, right? A human interaction value evolution module. And what that means is that the financial institutions now have the ability to lend based on data, okay? Based on the performance of a specific business. And so the system is able to provide different, lending products or vehicles that are different rates, different payment period, and using our AI, which we call Uliza. Uliza in Swahili is called, it means ask.
Okay,
Uliza AI. We are able to do these amazing things. And how are we able to do these amazing things is connecting that with what we call the last mile. The last mile is the ERP piece. So with the ERP, there's basic, when you think of an ERP system, there's basic things that you have to have. Accounting, human resources, invoicing, the normal typical things. And so you can get all that, right? But on top, you can get specific modules for your specific business. If you're a hair salon, you have a module for that. If you're a construction company, you have a module for that. If you are a livestock and a farmer or something, you have a specific module for that. And so we've combined that and connected it to our lending management system and funding management system, and have made it such that based on the data that's coming there, based on just not the data, but also sales, right? But now connecting to the POS. It doesn't matter what kind of POS you have, we can interface to it, right? But based on that, we are able to de-risk the investment for the financial institutions.
Wow.
Now, this is a big thing in America. Yeah. We work with different type of financial institutions out there, from CDFIs, credit unions. But the idea is to also open up their portfolio, like to look at Africa as well as, hey, we can invest, in Africa, right? And the days of looking, this is a financial institution, let's say a bank or, a credit union, as opposed to maybe a family office or a normal individual that you can't invest are gone, right?
Yeah.
All these people can participate, okay? And we have a special a syndicate system that gives them the ability to participate. Either if they are matching,
right,
or syndicate just join the investment, right? And that also includes philanthropic groups.
Okay? Wow. Okay.
And so let me give you an example of the philanthropic group, which is, we thought it's a great thing, mainly for the industry here. So you have a philanthropic group, from the US, comes down and they say, they want to invest in, let's say restaurants, something, right? And you have, let's say, a young lady that's opening up a small restaurant, and they are giving out grants, let's say 100,000, shilling grant. So that's great, but, at some point that grant will run out, right? And so what our system does, it has the ability to say, hey, we'll give you this 100,000 shilling grant, but let's find another financial institution, whether it's local or out there, that can match or add on to that. And here's why we are doing that. We want to build credit for that young lady, right? Because if they get a loan from this financial institution and they pay, let's say, 20% of it, the system automatically triggers the grant. Right. So now they went from just getting 100,000 to getting maybe 200,000 or 300,000. Right. But not only that, they ended up building their credit market. Credit market, right. So now that financial institution can continue lending them, and other financial institutions can see that, okay, we have a young lady here growing a restaurant and it's growing, and we'll participate just because we see, her moving the needle. Right. Now, before that, it was just like, hey, here's a grant, you're done. Right. We're changing that narrative. We want to make it accessible for everybody, but not just that, also de-risk the investment for the financial institutions so that they can see that, okay, we can participate in, even if it's micro, and that's the other thing. Right. Through the system, on a normal, in the US, on a normal loan, a $10,000 loan, it costs about 15% to process that loan. Wow. When it comes to origination, underwriting, loan servicing, dispersing the payment, 15%, that's 1,500. Yeah. That's a lot of money. Yeah. So that makes the small business suffer, because for the financial institution to do that, they're going to have to charge you 30% on interest or something like that, right? We take that 15%, bring it down to 2%.
So now it makes business
So
sense.
now it makes business sense. Now you can do micro nano loans,
Right.
right? And that is a huge game changer, you
Yeah.
know, for it, you know, whether it's there or here. And by connecting it to the point of sale, you're looking at, for example, mama Mbogas. We call them mama Mbogas here. You know, I like using that example because we deal with these mama Mbogas, and you have the mama Mboga wakes up in the morning, does not have any money to buy. She sells vegetables. She has a vendor that delivers vegetables all the time to her, and she has customers already. It's not like she's going to look for customers. She only needs money to buy those vegetables. With our system, she's able to basically get the loan from whichever financial institution. But instead of the money going directly to her, we work with the vendor and deliver the money to the vendor.
Wow.
And so the vendor delivers the products. She starts selling using her point of sale, and the system deducts a little bit for every sale. By the time 4 or 5 o'clock gets there, she already paid back her loan. Now she makes more money, and she gets to feed her kid for the next,
Wow. That's
1 week, like that.
That's powerful.
So those are the kind of different mechanism we're using, and it's all AI driven. I mean, we've really put a lot into this building, and we've worked with a lot of financial institutions, with a lot of small businesses to understand what's the pain point, how do we fix this in the shortest amount of time, in the shortest amount that it costs to actually get to that point, and also open up, so that investors of all kinds can see that these little small to medium-sized businesses, the micro nano loans, now they've been de-risked. Now you can actually get to that market, which is a big time. It's, trillions, it's just big entities don't touch it.
Yeah. Well, listen, this is transformative, as you know. So I think as we talk about financing, I think it's bigger than financing, because what you're also doing is for them to de-risk and become bankable, you have integrated some of the best technology, holistic technology solution for them to efficiently run a business. They now have a world-class framework by which they have a point-of-sale system, they have a financial system, they have a whole purchasing, inventory, repayment. From an automation perspective, 20 years ago, you would need a whole corporation of different people to operate in those different areas. And now that one person can scale a business, not only more profitable, but more efficiently. So it's not just about them being bankable, it's about giving them a system that they can scale to be more competitive and lead in their market. Because no matter how big you are, if you don't have that kind of integration in today's market, you will cease to be competitive moving forward, whether you're a large or medium business. So I think what's powerful is it's kind of the entry point. You're providing a world-class technology that's accelerating every day. You're creating a credit market for banks to be able to look at people, real data, not what your financials say because your accountant did it. The system is providing real-time reporting on what's actually happening. So now you have vendors and banks and private investors that will definitely fund those companies. And more importantly, being a person that has run a staffing and technology company, the impact on this kind of technology on human beings and their lives cannot be underestimated. Because employment and business entrepreneurship gives us the greatest sense of joy to provide for our family. It gives us a sense of accomplishing something. It helps us fulfill our purpose as human beings. It helps us meet our critical needs in terms of sustainable health, right? And without that tool, some of these people would not be optimistic. And now you've moved from a situation where someone who could potentially be viewed as disadvantaged, you've basically given them the tools and the framework to be advantaged over many people that don't have access to a PaySoko solution, right? And as you grow and have more and more data of these women-owned businesses, small businesses, medium businesses, large business, You're building a credit market where there will be no shortage of funding for these businesses because banks, what are they looking for? They're looking for great companies to partner with where they can provide funding and they can get de-risk and get their return. They're looking for business partners. Their model is dependent on their ability, right, to get to those people. And you're providing through technology that kind of solution. And I can imagine no matter whether you're in Europe, London, France, if you're sitting listening to this podcast and you don't have that kind of infrastructure in place, I encourage you to find a solution like PaySoko. Because the banks, from a governance perspective, you know, the bank that used to loan you money last year for X amount, if you don't have that governance in place, you will not continue to get offered that funding moving forward because the standard for governance through the use of real-time reporting has changed. And that cost of having that governance in place without the technology is expensive.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, it's nearly impossible for a small business to have.
Yeah.
So the point is just making it accessible, right? And that's the goal. And why not? Why not have profit and purpose at the same time, right? This is not a problem just in America or in Africa.
No.
This is a global problem.
It's a global problem.
Yeah, it's
absolutely
a big, huge problem.
Big problem.
And so we have, we are lucky to be in this point, and we want to lead and get other groups involved. We look at this whole problem. The only way we can solve it is, by partnering.
Right.
Same thing, the banks, the way the banks look at, they have to partner with the right businesses.
Right.
So we want to make that easy, simple for them, more de-risk the whole, investment bit of it. Because if you think about it, until now, mostly major banks, they look at a certain business that is at a certain level. Mm-hmm. And then, private investment, they, unless it's hyped as startup that's hyped, but there's so many opportunities here everywhere, it's just the right environment, having those digital tools, having access to those businesses and, understanding how the business can grow. You can already see 2-3 years down the line as an investor that this business is going to get here. And then, the only one, you have others, syndicates, and we're even doing this in real estate industry.
Right.
So it's every kind of industry that you can think of.
Right.
It requires funds. It requires business development. It requires technical assistance. And how do we do it with digital tools and AI?
Yeah.
That's where we are.
Right. A couple things I want to highlight for our listeners. Not only are you doing it here in Africa, you're working with the banking community within the U.S. They're some of your largest customers. So you have a mission to help small and medium businesses here in Africa, but you're doing it on a global scale with large financial institutions, helping them de-risk their investment, putting the technology framework in place for them to get to the companies that they want to connect with. So I think it's important for people, as we talk about your purpose here, to know that you are doing this on an international scale with some of the largest financial institutions in the world through the use of your platform. So it's not just small business that benefit. Very large people. I know you guys are extremely busy. I don't think people really understand how explosive your company is and what's going on right now, but it is powerful. And I just want to do, so I want to switch this a little bit because as we talk about business, some people kind of listen and it maybe sound a little bit complicated, but I really want to talk about Moses. Because what was more impressive, not just the technology of PaySoko, is you as a human being being committed to make a difference. That you could have chose a lot of ways given your background, not only in Vegas, connection to Silicon Valley, all your technical accomplishments and prowess of running other companies. You could have chose many ways to make money. And maybe in some cases, there's some other opportunities that presented itself that may have offered quicker, faster financial returns. But as I talked with you, this was something that was deep in your soul. This is more than just money. This was about doing something that's transformative. How did that start for you? What is it about? Did it start in your childhood? What is it about you that made this burn so warm and strong in your soul?
Yeah, it started as in my childhood. I'm a people's person.
Okay.
Okay, and as a kid, where we grew up in Eastlands, Uhuru, Jericho, we were the house that welcomed everybody. It didn't matter who you are.
Okay.
You know, we welcome everybody, and we made sure that everybody got to eat. We didn't care who you are. And so, from that standpoint, I've always been this person in whatever I've done. Is how do I open doors for others? That is my purpose of being here. Right? That is my purpose for life in my life, right? Because everybody has their own purpose. You believe that you're here for a certain reason. And for me, I believe I'm here to open doors for other people.
Wow.
Right? And every time I open a door for somebody, it feels great, but it's not just that. 3 doors are open for me.
Whoa.
Yeah. And that's just straight from the heart, that happens, right? And so coming back home, it was, having done tech in the US, in Silicon Valley, and Las Vegas, and coming back home, it really hit home because I understand this environment. I get this environment. And I see a lot of doors that should be open for different people in this environment. But not only that, I see doors on the other side, right? And it's like, these dots that we're just supposed to connect.
Yeah.
2 dots.
Yeah.
And at some point, it'll just flow.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
And so beyond, making a profit or anything, that to me, purpose is the number one thing. And my purpose is that opening doors and actually giving other people the opportunity to get to where they want to get. That makes me feel good, and I'm okay. If I get that satisfaction, I'm all right.
Man, that's powerful. That's why we're kindred soul from day one. And I got to tell you, this channel is Life by Design with Tim Booker because it's about living in your purpose. It's about being intentional. It's about self-actualization, wholeness. And it's true. It's karma. What you give, you get back tenfold. I came to Nairobi to do volunteer work, and what's been given back to me already has been multiplied in terms of my soul and my wholeness. And as a matter of fact, the catalyst for my business, Mind Finders, when I first started, before we were so technology-centric, we were a staffing firm. And I always, growing up in the community, I knew there were a lot of great people that I felt like weren't getting a fair opportunity. And I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to provide great people to ensure that all the great people I knew got an opportunity that everyone deserves. And I built a business around that 24 years ago. Bringing great minds together is about intellectual capital, making sure those great people are afforded the same level of opportunity as everyone else. And that was a mission of mine, and that drove me every day, even though sometimes it was tough.
It's always tough. It's not
when you're in your
easy.
mission, it's not easy.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was one of the most gratifying things that I've done because I know no matter what, I facilitated many, many, many people in feeding their family and providing a life for the people they love. And my job was to make sure that they had the tools, whether it be the resume, the interview tools, the opportunity, the education, the encouragement, and that's what you're doing through the use of this technology and your platform. You're using your platform to enrich the people's lives around you. And I do agree with you. That's probably why you've been blessed,
I can't point to anything else but that, and I'll keep doing that, That's the calling.
Yes, the calling. Well, if you have that burning passion that Moses and I have for making a difference, for giving, bringing people together for purpose, for encouraging people, loving people, as he said in his family, feeding them a meal, and everybody's welcome, right? In my home to have a family. If you have that, you're looking to bring your talent to a community of people and make a difference and lead here in Nairobi. I encourage you to reach out to me on my channel. The Nairobi Accelerator think tank is going to be a catalyst for that kind of activity in those vertical markets. Partner with Moses and I and many, many other folks that have that same level of passion and perspective to let's make a difference and do something great in this business community. And I just want to thank you for coming in and sharing today. I want to let you know I'm here behind you. I'm your cheerleader. I'm encouraging you. I want to just reach out if you're an investor out here, a private investor, you're looking for a place where you can facilitate this type of mission and get a substantial return as we grow. I ask you to reach out to Moses. Moses, how does someone get in contact with you?
Sure, just paysoko.com, and you can either just leave your contacts there, or just even directly through me, Moses K at PaySoko Systems.com. But we're accessible on LinkedIn, all the social medias. And if you're in Nairobi, you can even come and meet us in person in a beautiful office down on Gong Road and Westlands as well, and in Las Vegas as well. So I'm looking forward to connecting with other people, and you guys are doing a great job. And like I said, everybody that's coming to us, I'm gonna have to bring them through here, and you're probably gonna have to do the same thing, talk to them.
Yeah.
But this is a great. It's needed, to connect the two dots again. The U.S. to Africa. This is how it gets started.
So, just in closing, I'm going to ask you just kind of a thought-provoking question for my listeners and watchers. Given your global experience in the technology space, being an entrepreneur both in the U.S. and here in the diaspora, you also have some connections in Uganda as well. I think you work for the Bank of Uganda?
No, we work with.
I'm sorry, as a customer. So I know you have some connections throughout Africa as well. Given the fact that you have experience being educated and living both in the U.S. and here, given your experience of growing up here in Kenya, from a family structure perspective, if you had to leave one or two important words of wisdom for our listeners and your loved ones in terms of kind of key things to self-actualize and operate in your purpose, what messages would you leave?
That's, I have a lot, I have to bring it down to, so I think the first thing, two main things. First thing, you can do anything. I'm a testament to that. Right? Doesn't matter where you are, what kind of hardship you're going through. If you dream it, you can do it.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Do it. That's one. Number two, simply get up. If you fall, get up and learn. You'll not fall that way again. Yeah. If you keep getting up, and I call it tenacity, call it perseverance, just try again. Fall, because you will fall. Yeah. The best entrepreneurs, these big entrepreneurs, it seems easy. Oh, that was easy, but they went through a lot, right? And they fell and they got up. And so for me, I say, if you fall, just get up.
I agree with you.
Learn, do it again.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant, and I would like to use Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant will wake up at 5 in the morning and make like thousands of shots.
Yeah.
Okay. And that perfection becomes part of you, right? Because even during now the game, it's just another shot.
Yeah, it's another
Just another
shot.
shot.
Yeah, it's muscle memory.
It's muscle memory. Right? And when you fall, and he even said that, when you fall, just get up. Learn, do it again.
Yeah.
So those are the two main things.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, we as our listeners sit and listen to you or listen to me, they might say, well, I'm not quite there yet, right? But everybody starts from the bottom. Everybody starts one day at a time, right? The results of your life are the byproduct of your daily habits, right? So success follows habits, not the other way around.
Exactly.
And in Kobe Bryant example, his habits and his discipline, his success was a byproduct of his habits. So to all my listeners, one day at a time, thank you for watching. Moses, once again, thank you for enlightening us and for the work and for caring for your community. We appreciate and love you. And stay tuned. If you like more content like this, please like, share, subscribe. And I look forward to seeing you again on Life by Design with Tim Booker. Thank you.
Thank you.